You are watching William Paterson University Television.
Hello and welcome to a special midweek edition of WP Sports Desk on WPTV. I'm your host, Dante Vocaturo.
And I'm Samory Rose. Today's an especially special episode because we're joined by William Paterson alumni and current Fox Sports broadcaster, Kevin Burkhardt. Welcome to the desk.
Thanks for having me, guys. Great to be back here.
Thank you. Kevin will be an analyst on the desk in a few minutes, but first we want to talk to him about his career from William Paterson to the big leagues. Kevin, you graduated from William Paterson a number of years ago. What did you take from your time here that helped you reach your successes in the professional world?
Well, Dante, I took everything, honestly. Getting a chance to do, it was a little different, but the same idea with what you're doing here. We had a show called Newsline back in the day, similar, but it was kind of news and sports. And then we did a lot of games and just anything I could get my hands on to learn and to get better. And so without William Paterson, I wouldn't be where I am today. That's the bottom line. It was the basis for everything that I did. And we had so many great people and professors and volunteers who helped us learn and practice and have fun. That's kind of what it was about. So yeah, I wouldn't be here without it.
So you were on SNY for 7 years, and that's where you started. You hosted shows like Hot Stove, and you were the host for the pre and the post game shows. What were some of the stuff that you picked up from there?
Well, that was my first real full TV job because, all throughout William Paterson, I wanted to be in TV, but then actually my career started in radio, and I kind of went that direction in a lot of small, no-name places trying to build my career. And then SNY was my first official full TV job. So, yeah, I was the Mets field reporter for a long time there. So I did a little of everything. I did reporting. I traveled with the Mets, and I was their go-to guy. And then, yes, I hosted shows, like you said. So the biggest thing from there is, it was a couple things. It was being versatile, which I think is super important. I think there are a lot of people that tell you you should specialize in one thing. I don't agree with it. I think I'm kind of proof that versatility is a good thing. I think it was just being my first time on television, and especially in New York, everything you do is magnified. So it was just learning in terms of good things you did were magnified and mistakes were magnified. So you have to have a thick skin. You have to be, if you make a mistake or if you get criticized, you have to just roll with it and keep going. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest lessons from that.
Now you started SNY right around the time of its launch. Now you're at Fox Sports and already established market there, a company there. What are the differences going from a relatively new company to something like Fox Sports? Yeah,
it's not so much the difference between the age of the company. It's the job, right? So SNY was a great network, was a regional network. It's New York, right? New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and in that time I'm doing the Mets, and that's for a specified fan base. Now I'm doing national, so I'm talking to the whole country, and whether it's NFL playoff games or World Series or whatever, it's a little different audience. Whereas, there, you know who you're talking to. You're talking to essentially, tri-state people who are Mets fans, and you kind of know their background. When you're doing a national game, you are talking to everybody. You're talking to the diehard fan. You're talking to the people who live in that city. You're talking to people who live far from that city. You're talking to people who watch that team all the time, and you're talking to people that maybe don't watch that team ever. So it's a different way of attacking the broadcast and how you talk about it. Whereas here, you're talking to people who know William Paterson, right? But if this show was national, you'd have to be a little bit more broad and expect that maybe somebody's watching who doesn't know William Paterson. So it's all how you present the material, really.
Now, you just alluded to, you've called playoff games for the NFL. You've been a host for a World Series pregame and postgame. What is there left for you to accomplish in your career?
Samory, come on. My God, I'm not that good. There's a lot. I think for me, everyone always asks what your goals are. I don't have a specific. I always wanted to do the NFL, and I love baseball, so I'm doing both. I think my thing is just to keep getting better, to keep improving, and keep whatever comes my way, do it well. And, I like what I do a lot. I love it. So, I don't know that there's one specific thing like, hey, if a Super Bowl fell into my lap and, Joe Buck decided to take a year off, of course I would love to do it, right? But it's not like my be-all, end-all. It's just continue to grow, continue to be better, and just get better at what I'm doing now and keep enjoying it. That's really, it's simple, but that's really what it comes down to for me.
One final question. Your lovely wife is in the control room right now.
Yeah.
Walk us through, how do you guys meet?
Well, we met here.
Really?
We met at William Paterson. Actually, thankfully I was lazy. I didn't want to take any summer classes my last semester, so I came back for a 4.5 year. I came back I only had a couple classes, but I really enjoyed it here, and I was like, come back and do that. So turned out that was a great decision, despite maybe what my parents thought, because that's when Rachel transferred in. She was a little younger than me, so she transferred in. So we met at a TV production meeting. She used to work in the office of this building, as a matter of fact. And so we just hit it off. And luckily I asked her out and she said yes, and she was a producer. And then she became a teacher. And so, not only my career, but I wouldn't have my family if not for William Paterson. So yeah, we met, and we have been married for 19 years. So yeah, I owe a lot to this building, I guess you could say.
Well, we would love to thank you for your invaluable knowledge that you brought, and we just thank you for coming.
That's great to be back, guys. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
It's great. After the break, Kevin Burkhardt will go back to analysis as we take a look at tonight's NFL draft. Stick with us.